everybody, this is the Jink from SourceU. Thanks for watching. If you want to keep up with all things SourceU, check out our Twitter page and our Facebook page. If you have any ideas or suggestions for any future videos we should do, please send us an email. Please go to our channel, look for that SourceU insignia, and subscribe to our videos. Thank you, enjoy the video.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Search for SourceU, and we are on the last day of Blerdcon. I finally got the interviews, man. I've been trying to chase them around all weekend.
Busy, my friend.
Busy indeed. For the people, can you introduce yourself and let them know what it is that you do here at Blerd?
Sure. What's up, everybody? My name's Jason Scott. I own Aim Hit Go. We provide the video games and the tournament services for Blerdcon throughout the entire weekend. We do a 50 console setup, along with we had 6 amazing tournaments this year with amazing turnouts. So yeah, we do the gaming for all of Blerdcon.
Yeah. And in case you guys are wondering why I've switched to my laptop camera as opposed to the other camera, some of the other interviews that I've done, we found out that I've had some bad sound issues, which may stem from a bad cable or a bad mic. So this was a little bit safer to go with, and I wanted to make sure that this interview came out right. Now here's the kicker. So I've been going to Blerdcon since day one. You guys didn't come in until the second Blerdcon, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
It was also the same year where I bought you guys T-shirt off of you.
Right. Our first T-shirt customer, actually.
So I still have that shirt too. It's in my closet. I still wear it on occasion.
Is it the logo with the game with us if you want to?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, good.
So I still have that shirt.
It's a funny story behind that, actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It was a rush job, and we wanted to kind of test our waters with the T-shirts,
right.
And we had to come up with something within just a couple of days. So I actually hopped on PowerPoint and was just like, I had just watched, I believe it was Predator. You know, that the famous, come with me if you want to live.
T2.
T2, rather. And it was fresh in my mind, so I was like, this is a perfect slogan. Game with us if you want to live, And I typed it out. I put I put our logo colors on there. And I sent it off. We got them done. And it was a hit. Like, ever since then, people were like, hey, man, can I get one of those shirts? I love those shirts. Catchy phrase. I'm like, okay, well. So just it goes to show anything you come up with could possibly be a good idea to anybody, right?
Listen, all I gotta say is all that reminds me of the story of Scott Hall and how he came up with being Razor Ramon and how he got Sting to switch his character in WCW to the pro version of Sting. Just literally sitting there going, hey, have you ever watched this movie? Oh man, that's beautiful. So you've been here for providing services for 6 years for Blerdcon.
Yeah.
I've taken a 5-year hiatus from Blerdcon to come back this year. It's actually kind of crazy when I think about it because
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, I
feel like I've seen you year after year.
That's because during the first 3 years, and then I've been counting up the years. I think you've been doing this more than 6 now. Blerdcon started 2017. You've been here since 2018.
Right.
2018,
right.
2019, you would have been here, which would have been the last 2 times you would have seen me. Then the COVID.
The whole COVID situation.
So you've been doing this about 7?
Yeah, well,
7, 8 years?
Our company actually started in 2017, also like very end of 2016, 2017. And Blerdcon was actually one of the first. It was literally the first convention that gave us a shot. We were doing much smaller events like breweries and restaurants and pop-up stuff like that. And we kind of just wanted to see how far it would go. And it was just me at that time. And we were like, you know what if we get into a bigger setting with a lot more people. I reached out to Hilton, and he loved the idea, and here we are. And I'm sure since you took that 5-year hiatus,
Right.
it's changed a little.
Oh,
right?
quite a bit. Like, I remember the arcade machines used to be along the wall over here.
we had half the equipment. Like,
oh yeah, like it was like maybe about 4 or 5 arcade machines. We had just the one table for the game set up.
Right.
Everything
right.
else might have been over there in the game room down there with the board games and the card games.
Yep.
I remember so vividly, like 2019, going, man, this is really coming along better and better each year.
We had 10 systems that year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think we had 22 the year after.
Yep.
And now, we can provide over 150 to 200 systems for very large scale events. So yeah, we have some rapid growth, and it's been really awesome so far.
Right. Now you mentioned providing for bars. Did you guys provide for high sport?
We did not. They weren't here while we were doing the bar scene. We did things with Fairwinds Brewery. There was a really cool brewery in Woodbridge called Hero Ale Works. We did some stuff for Dave & Buster's at one point. I know they're not a brewery, but we established something called Sunday Smash here in the Springfield area. And every Sunday we were holding tournaments with them.
So that was you guys?
Yeah, that was us.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was our first step into the competitive gaming scene. We wanted to build our community, of course.
Okay.
And we wanted to create the following in the competitive space to give not only the youth but the veterans of the actual gaming world a new outlet. I think Xanadu had just opened at that point, but we had nothing in this entire area. And I wanted to establish something.
Correct. Xanadu had moved.
You're right, to the racetrack. They had moved. They were already established, but they had moved to the racetrack. And for the people in the Springfield, Woodbridge, Annandale kind of area, we didn't have
really nothing.
We had nothing. So I wanted to establish something kind of in the central hub that allowed those players that have been playing for years a place to go. And it was gaining a lot of traction.
Right.
And then obviously the COVID thing hit. We were going to partner with Dave & Buster's and do a yearly, we were going to shut down the whole building. Sponsors were going to come in. We were going to do a full weekend style tournament and provide this incredible event. I wrote the whole thing out, was ready to go, and then COVID hit. And it shut the whole idea down. I went back to them to try to talk, and new GM, new managers, new everything, so it got kind of washed.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes.
Right.
I've been there, done that.
Right, and luckily Blerdcon had actually only taken a year off, and they came back in 2021.
Yep.
And they invited us back, and things were very, very different. People were coming out of the house, but weren't really ready to involve themselves.
Right.
And we were the first company that was all right, let's get the people back out here again. 2021 we did a show with them, and then 2022 people were like, I gotta get out of the house, and we just exploded after 2022. People saw what we were doing, was like, I gotta have that at my convention, and it started to become a staple.
And that is always a good thing when something takes off like this. I gotta always give it to Haas and Hilton, because they've always been really good at seeing the potential in everybody and just giving them the opportunity to show that potential. And Hilton especially is really, really good at that.
Yeah, he's amazing with bringing in new talent and kind of finding the places where, Blerds are doing things. And he's been able to utilize that and give them a space where whatever they're doing has a chance to shine. I mean, Blerdcon pulls in 15 to 20,000 people, right? I think it's right around 12 to 20,000 people, somewhere within that range. And a lot of people in our generation, in our space, we don't have that kind of exposure. We're trying to do our things. We're trying to make ourselves known online and increase the footprint, but we don't really get that maximum exposure within the 3-day span. You have thousands of people checking out your work and seeing what you're doing, and it's a really powerful platform to be able to showcase, whatever it is you're working on.
Oh yeah, and in case y'all wondering why I keep shifting, the chair I'm sitting in is actually this little rinky-dink thing. I'm just shifting to make sure I don't break it.
He was nice enough to give me the nice chair. He's like, let me make you comfortable. And I'm watching him struggle.
Listen,
his leg muscles are working overtime.
Listen,
I'll just stay up. So.
Listen, I'd rather be uncomfortable to make my guests have to struggle. So
thank you, sir. Thank you.
So My question is for you, and this is a huge question for you. Like, if you had the opportunity, like, put something together, like, either here at Blerdcon or outside of it, what would you want to put together specifically? Like, what's your dream project?
That's a really good question. Actually, I've never been asked that before. I've thought of a few things. There's we do everything from retro to new, and we do the console arcade, but we also do the competitive side too. There's a few. I mean, we all know Evo, we all know CEO, we all know Combo Breaker. Those are the really big style tournaments that happen once a year. A couple times a year. I want to do something along those lines, but change it up a little bit different, right? And I'm kind of on my way to actually doing it. Again, we are in a lot of really awesome spaces as far as Blerdcon and some other large scale conventions as well. What I want to eventually do is create a circuit on the same level of exposure as your Evo, your CEO, your combo breakers, but create a multiple stop circuit. Think of the Tekken World Tour or the Capcom World Tour or something like that, right? Where there's multiple hubs, multiple stops, and people from all over the world can participate. I want to be able to provide something along those lines as well. But extend it out to the different kind of games that are happening. It's mostly a lot of FGC that happens, which that's my genre. I'm a Tekken player, you know what I mean? But I want to be able to. I mean, Tekken for life.
Tekken for life.
I want to be able to branch out to things like your Call of Duty, your Overwatch, your racing games and stuff like that. I want to be able to provide a bunch of different style games on a very, very large scale circuit where everyone has a chance to participate across the nation, kind of a thing, and then have a central spot at the end of the circuit where everyone can converge and enjoy it, much like your CEO or your Evo or Combo Breaker or something along those lines.
So
that would be an awesome, amazing project that I thought about for a long time.
It's funny that you said that, right? Because, and this is something that Jenk has done in the past. And yes, once again, I'm mentioning you put your salt bottle down. You don't need it for this one. This is me doing a good thing. Just bear with me, Jenk. So
he knows what he's doing.
Sometimes. So Jenk does this thing every so often where he'll put together a round robin tournament, and what he'll do is he'll get a bunch of us together, and we all get a pick of a game type, and it's literally everybody plays this game, and it's all just round robin. We go from one game to the next. So somebody will pick fighting games, somebody will pick shooters, platformers, and it's just like a whole.
So it's really interesting that you actually say that, because the other half of that dream of mine, the way I started myself ties perfectly. The way I started my company, was I was always like the social gatherer, the party planner, the person that gathered all our friends and said, okay, we're gonna go do this, right? So one time I wanted to hold a tournament at my house. I have all gamer friends. We had the Xbox One had just come out. I think the only game on it was Killer Instinct at the time. Had just come out. And I wanted to invite everyone over to the house and kind of get this new style of tournament that I had created, right? It worked off of a point system. I'm watching you guys out there. If this all of a sudden pops up, I know where you heard it from. But the kind of tournament that I want to put on is a little bit different from your traditional round robin or your bracket, right? I want to create a tournament with a point system, which I've created and tested, and it seemed to be a hit, which is, again, how I started my business. So you have a bunch of different games of all different kinds: racers, shooters, FGC, puzzle games, competitive puzzle games, whatever it might be, right? All video games. And you have a point system. Every time you play a game, doesn't matter what it is, you record your win, you record your loss, right? And at the end of a set time period, strategically moving through games or staying on one, whatever's getting you the most points, at the end, there's the best winner and the best loser, and both get a prize, right? So I had a bunch of...
You know what that kind of reminds me of? So you know how in like NASCAR or rally race, how they go and they race, and it's like, okay, these people get these scores for coming in these different places, but you still have the chance to advance each round of racing,
right?
Depending on where you place
and then
each
your
time.
and then your cumulative score at the end is what really you're graded on.
Right.
So all your scores across all the games gets recorded, and your overall highest is the winner. And your overall lowest gets a prize as well. Maybe on the opposite spectrum, but you get it.
And then, people said that those racing scores don't make sense.
They do. And what happens is it worked. So I invited all these people to my house. I invited only like 10 people.
Right.
Like 40 people showed up. And I was like, all right, this is a lot of people in my basement all of a sudden, right? But they all loved it. Sent out the collection. I had to feed them, so pizzas for everyone. Sent out the collection plate. Everyone's like, everyone's donating. I ended up with like $700 or something along those lines. And I was like, guys, this is way too much for pizza. Take your money back. And it was just really just a thank you for holding the event, right? And I was like, wow, okay, this is really cool. Let me try to do this again. Ladies and gentlemen, like almost 80 people showed up at the second time I did it, and that was too many people to house at my little townhome, right? So we had multiple floors of games and multiple floors of people just like going at it on all different genres, and it worked out really well. So I wanted to test the whole gaming thing at my friend's brewery. He owned a brewery at the time called Hero Ale Works. So I took over the tap room on a Tuesday, much like your bingo, your karaoke or something along those lines.
Right.
So I was like, let me do a game night. Did a game night, and he was like, I've never made that much money on a Tuesday. You brought the people out. You did the whole thing, and it was amazing. They loved it. And I was like, okay, there's a business idea here. And I put the whole thing together, and now here we are, aim, hit, go.
And you know what's funny? Like, your beginnings are very similar to, shouts out to my boy, AD, a.k.a. Hercule, the creator at NMJ, No More Johns. He had a very similar start. So we actually used to run Smash tournaments out of his basement, and we ended up turning those small Smash tournaments out of his basement into Smash 2 Crash, because we were just messing around, joking, and we were trying to come up with names. And then somehow we landed on Smash 2 Crash. That went from being small tournaments coming out of his basement to us renting out venues and stuff.
Right, it's crazy now, right?
Yeah, and the last Smash 2 Crash, once again,
ladies and gentlemen,
2019, right before the world ended, it was the last time we ran a Smash 2 Crash, but back in 2022, we just recently ran a tournament out of his basement. It didn't have the Smash 2 Crash branding, but he just moved to a new place. He finally got to buy like a new house with the space that he envisioned for him and his wife and his child. Okay. And we ran this tournament. Oh yeah, and we ran this tournament out of the garage.
I mean, that's, dude, humble beginnings.
Still with like 50 to 60 plus people playing.
Humble beginnings.
It is always exciting. It is just like me sitting here and going like, this feels weird and nostalgic at the same time, but man, I sure hope that one issue that we ran into when doing this stuff back in the basement doesn't happen again. And sure enough, I now need a new mixer. You put a sign up that says, do not place your food and drinks here. People completely ignore it once they're drunk.
And then it comes all the way back around. It's like, all right, well, if I can't beat them, let me join them. So to answer your question, like, that style tournament across the nation, giant circuit, would be like my brain baby coming to life. It'll be really awesome.
Oh yeah, and honestly, I can't wait to see it. Like I have full faith that you're gonna get.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
When it does,
eventually. I mean, it's not an if. It's a when.
Yeah, it's a when.
Things into existence.
And when it does happen, all I ask that as part of your team that you invite SourceU to either come out and participate or come out and help with structure.
Of course, how would I not? Of course, man.
And yes, Jake, I'm including you. You're still part of SourceU, even though you try to separate yourself. I'm sorry, but you're still licensed to us. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it. The sooner it happens, the better. If anyone's out there that can make anything happen along those lines, let's talk. But I'm working with a lot of really awesome people. I'm starting to meet and get eyes on me from really influential people. So hopefully it happens sooner than later. It'll be awesome.
Hopefully soon you get to do something down there. It's having to do with Glimmer.
Yeah,
Glimmer is always, like, from what I can tell, from the few conversations that I've had with him, and I know Glimmer won't remember me much, he shouldn't, because all my conversations with him have just been like passive. Hey, what's going on, man? And just talking, shooting the shit.
Right.
So, but from conversations I've seen him have with other people, it seems like he's always open to new, fresh ideas and always open to a business opportunity. So, if you ever get a chance to have a conversation with that man, go for it.
Make the introduction, man. Let's do that.
Absolutely. Hey, next time you're in the area for Xanadu, man. He's
Yeah,
always floating. It's
I need to
weird.
come
He's
out.
always floating around on the floor. You would think he wouldn't be, but he's always on the floor.
Got to be in the mix, man. Meet your people.
Yeah. So, and hence the reason why we were able to have a conversation.
Exactly.
The first time we had a conversation where we ran into him when we were leaving Xanadu when they first moved down there, it was probably like their third week open. We went in, had a good time. We were all leaving, and we bumped into him in the parking lot. And I didn't know who he was at first. So I was just sitting there talking to him because I saw his car. I was like, man, that's you? Yo, man, you must be doing that, man. You took that offer and just jumped off the bridge and got your dream car. He's like, yeah, man. Once I saw it, I had to get it. I was like, man, you must have fun on the weekends. Like, man, I had fun all the time when I drive. We were just shooting the shit about him in the car. And then
Common ground.
right, and then when he left, and I was walking on my buddies, they were just sitting there the whole time looking at me. I was like, man, that was a really cool guy. He was like, yo, that was Gilmore, right? I was like, what? That was great.
You see me, I'm on the floor as well. I talk to all the people. I want to meet everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be established at all if I didn't have the people. You know what I mean?
And
Like they make me able to be able to do what I want to do, and I have to give the love back as much as possible. I want to meet everyone. I want to be friends with everyone, and it's just how I've always been since growing up. You know what I mean? I want to make those connections and have those long-lasting friendships, and the more people I meet as I'm doing this, the cooler and cooler it gets. You know, it's a really awesome feeling when you see a familiar face at one of your events. You know, that means that you're doing something right. They want to come back for it. So it always feels really, really good when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, man, I know exactly what you mean. So before I let you go, so you can finally get some rest, because this man has been killing himself this weekend. My final question to you, sir, is where can the people find you?
Okay, what's up, everybody? Again, my name is Jason Scott, and my company's name is Aim Hit Go, and it is exactly that on all social medias. Aim Hit Go on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, X, or Twitter rather, Facebook, all of that. Shoot me a message, say hi. I will respond, and please give us a like, give us a follow on all our stuff. We do tournaments and pop-up arcades throughout the entire year, all over the DMV area. The social media is the easiest way to follow along with everything we're doing, and I hope I see some of you all there. If you come to one of my events or one of the events I'm servicing, introduce yourself. Let me know that you saw this podcast. I want to be able to connect with you guys and whatnot. He should be there too as well. So
Most likely.
make that introduction for us. But I hope to see you guys at some of my events. It would be awesome. Again, that's Aim Hit Go on all social media platforms.
All right. That being said, thanks so much, Jason.
Thank you.
And
I'm sorry about your equipment also.
Listen, it happens. It just sometimes that's just the way to pick the company.
Hey, you gotta adapt and overcome, right? That's what we've done here.
That's all we ever can do.
Exactly.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, SourceU out from Blerdcon. We will catch you on the next one. See ya.